But you're all good? Okay, well, thank you all for coming out. First of all, I think it's important to point out this event is not necessarily over yet. Everybody needs to continue to be weather aware in the hours to come, and we wanted to have this early enough that you could get out of the weather in the hours ahead. So definitely don't look at this totally as a backwards-looking press conference. We really want to also draw attention to the seriousness of the weather situation, which obviously it's November, and people aren't always thinking about severe weather in November, but here we are. We're fortunate, obviously, that we have no, at this time, in Oklahoma City, confirmed fatalities, but nonetheless, this is clearly the most serious event we've had in some time. And, I can speak just even from my own personal experience. I've been mayor now for 6 years, and this is the first time that we've had anything of this level since that time in 2018. So it's been nearly a decade since we've had something this significant. And you'll hear more details about that from our emergency management team and our fire and police here in a moment. But I'm just here to, first of all, say that we have the best emergency management team in the country. Some of that, most of that is hard-earned, but we've got a lot of experience in this area, and I think you'll hear that expertise today. And so the recovery from these types of situations is in the best hands imaginable. It is also supplemented by some of the most generous and kind people in the United States, and we're actually witnessing that just behind me. This is a church that's near the neighborhood here at Sooner Road that was hit, and they immediately sprang into action, and I've been watching just for the last 30 minutes as they've been carrying water and pizzas into the neighborhood. They're collecting donations here, and that kind of work is happening all across the community. If you want to be engaged in that kind of work, I do want to share with you how to donate. And really, we kind of rally around the Red Cross at times like this, and I talked to their local representative just a few minutes ago, and she advised that if you want to donate financially to the recovery efforts here, go to www.redcross.org/donate and select, quote, your local Red Cross if you want the dollars to absolutely stay right here in Oklahoma. So that's www.redcross.org/donate. And you could also do a text option. If you text Red Cross, all caps, one word, Red Cross, REDCROSS, to 90999. So text to 90999, $10 will be donated towards disaster relief. So that's texting Red Cross to 90999. We're going to hear in a moment from Police Chief Ron Basie and Battalion Chief, Fire Battalion Chief Scott Douglas. We're very grateful for their work and all of the city employees who rally at times like this. A lot of departments, all of the departments in a sense, have been involved in this response. And I also, of course, share on behalf of the people of Oklahoma City our thoughts and our prayers for all of those who are affected by these severe weather events. And with that, I'd like to turn the podium over to Chief Basie.
To echo the thoughts of our mayor, it's November, but the one thing you can't predict in Oklahoma is the weather, and this is evident of it. We want people to stay weather aware. This is the first round of storms coming through, so definitely stay weather aware and be prepared to take shelter when necessary. Ultimately, we had a round of storms that was unexpected last night. Police and fire sprang into action as usual, responded to the disaster areas and immediately started blocking off intersections when they saw debris and power lines down and started search and rescue efforts. We've since conducted a second round to make sure that we didn't miss anyone. What I can tell you at this time from an initial damage assessment is I believe we have 39 buildings totally destroyed, 43 have major damage and 54 have minor damage. We know that moving forward, we're going to have road closures from Southeast 89th on Sooner to Sooner Elementary, and on Southeast 44th from Triple X Road to Indian Meridian for the next few days as we attempt to repair power lines and clear debris. We want people to please stay out of those disaster areas to keep themselves safe. I want to thank the men and women of the Oklahoma City Police Department, the Oklahoma City Fire Department, who responded so diligently and so quickly to assess residents in need in what is a difficult moment. If I could describe anything about Oklahoma City, it's resilient. No matter what happens to us, we always rise up as a community, and that is, as the mayor said, so evident by the volunteer efforts of the people behind us and everyone in the community that's wanting to give and to be a part of this effort. So with that, I will pass it along to our battalion chief.
Hello, Scott Douglas, Oklahoma City Fire Department. So this morning, just after 1 o'clock, Fire Department, we started beginning to receive many different calls in the area of Southeast 89th and Sooner, and also at Southeast 44th and Triple X Road. Once we arrived on scene, we quickly developed a unified command with Oklahoma City Police Department. We had several resources, several responding agencies coming out. Fortunately, reporting, as of now, we've searched through the neighborhoods, through multiple areas, and we're reporting no casualties, which is good news. We did transport 11 people to the hospital. Thank goodness these were non-life-threatening injuries. We had actually 6 from the location of Southeast 89th and Sooner Road, and then we had 5 that were located at the area of Southeast 44th and Triple X Road. So 11 total that were transported. The police department's been working throughout the day assessing the damage. Chief Basie just gave you those numbers. Fire department, fortunately, we had shift change around 7 o'clock, so we had a fresh batch of firefighters coming in, which is fortunate, especially with the weather that we're looking like we may be facing again this evening. But as of right now, 11 total patients that were transported. We did have a lot of flash flooding, had a lot of stranded vehicles along the roadways in this area. Fortunately, most of these people were able to reach safe ground and high ground before we arrived on scene, but we were battling some flash flooding. We did the best we could. When we arrived on scene, we were getting some warnings of another approaching tornado, so that was in the back of our head. We tried to keep our own firefighter safety in mind, along with the incident and the people that were affected by this. So when we responded on scene, we did a quick search of the neighborhood, a quick sweep, located and helped those people that were in needed rescuing. At that time, we reconned our efforts momentarily, and then we performed a secondary search, just making sure that we did get to everybody that was needed. But that's all I have at this time, unless y'all have any questions for me.
Any questions either for the chief or anybody? The question is there a curfew? Not in a mayoral formal sense, but obviously the environment here is a little controlled. Chief, you want to address that?
There's no formal curfew at this time. If their need becomes necessary, we'll reassess that and give that information out. Right now, we're just asking people to stay out of the disaster areas for their own safety.
And obviously, we have some more severe weather that's coming up in a little bit. Is there any suggestions that you guys would like to, mention now before this next round comes to the metro?
With the aftermath of the tornado damage, there's so many hazards that are seen and unseen. So just as Chief Basie said, it really helps out emergency officials if everybody would give us some room here around. We know we have a lot of people that's wanting to reach out. We've had a lot of volunteers, people responding to the scene, wanting to help, and that's just the Oklahoma standard. But we have a lot of down power lines. We have a lot of flooded areas still in these neighborhoods, and in those flooded areas, you don't know what's underneath. It may be missing sewage covers, some down power lines that you may not know, some sharp glass, sharp hazards. So the area is still deemed very dangerous. We have a lot of down power lines still here. All the utilities companies are still here working through trying to make it a safe area for emergency responders. So it's still a very dangerous area, and we just would appreciate that the public would just give us a little room here to work and make sure it's safe for everybody.
Obviously, Oklahoma County's been helping out with HERA and stuff, but is there any effort maybe from Oklahoma City, since y'all are kind of right there with Triple X? I know it's right on that line pretty much. So is there any effort that maybe you guys are helping out with them and helping them?
We did respond actually just across Choctaw boundaries. This morning we had an overturned mobile home. We had two personnel that was trapped inside, and so we crossed just Oklahoma City boundaries just over into Choctaw to assist them. So we did rescue 2 people from a turned over mobile home there. Anything from y'all, Chief?
Well, actually, it's just a great opportunity to thank our Metro partners. We work in a unique place. There's no place like it else in the country. This morning, just an outpour of phone calls from local police chiefs and local law enforcement asking if we needed assistance with anything and offering assistance. And that is, as he stated, the Oklahoma standard. So we are on standby for upcoming storms. Emergency response teams are ready to go. And we know that we have our Metro partners standing by willing to help, and we're willing to do the same if necessary.
Mayor Holt, I know you mentioned the Red Cross and donations for people, but are you, for the next couple hours, maybe going into early this week, obviously busy with the election, but are you going to be asking anything from our, federally
Well, we know we've got some level of state support. Sometimes you have to hit certain thresholds, I understand, and others know more about that than me in terms of the scope of the damage before you can get some of that support. And federal support is often something that comes in a bit later, and part of the reason that we encourage people to report damage and all that is so we can collect those reports and receive that financial support later. But, you know, in the moment, I mean, we really depend on our people, on our fire department, our police department. That's who's really, you know, in the moment, the folks that are on the ground. We certainly always welcome that support from the state and feds, but oftentimes that's really more kind of money coming as a reimbursement after the fact.